Does the Bible expressly call for corporal punishment of kids? I think you guys argue in many ways, no. Like the way the rod is even described is incorrect. But there are very clear passages in, say, like Deuteronomy, where like capital punishment for a progressively rebellious child is called into play. So like, what's your approach to what you're grabbing onto as like the Christian perspective versus like, okay, that is a relic of its time in its historical context, and it doesn't represent big G God?
This is such a great question. Jesus is always our hermeneutic. In the Christian faith, we believe that when God decided to reveal to humanity what he was like in human form, he became incarnate. And the life and ministry and teaching of Jesus is going to be the guide to see what are things in alignment with that. And second to that, do we get any explicit teaching as Christian parents? Because I think a big piece of where the corporal punishment conversation goes off the rails is because of the influence of what's called the nouthetic movement, the biblical counseling movement that says the Bible is this instruction manual for life. And so you can find everything you need there, kind of almost like a user guide. That is a little bit at odds with the fact that most of the Bible comes to us in narrative form. It's telling us this story of the people of God over millennia. The Bible's not a parenting manual in that sense. And so it's curious to me that in all the resources we read, we rarely heard the name of Jesus mentioned in a meaningful way. We rarely saw his life and ministry discussed. We saw again and again this handful of Proverbs, the rod Proverbs and Hebrews 12, again and again and again discussed. And as we argue, and I think is true in irresponsibly exegetical and hermeneutical ways, like in ways that don't hold up. But they become things people cling to. And I think it's the biggest roadblock for Christians to give up corporal punishment. They really have been misled to believe that these rituals of spanking toddlers and preschoolers are somehow biblical. You can be free of that. We can be done with that. None of this is theoretical anymore. We have a number of adults describing the incredible long-term harm and impact it had.
Yeah.
We have good research in the past 50 years showing the harm. We have robust exegetical arguments to say, look, this doesn't track. So it's a difficult topic to talk about and engage sometimes, but really important because I think families need to be freed up from it.